MMC TV USA. Now on POTV, Channel 100.
Well, hello there once again and welcome to MMC World Roundup, where we connect you with the latest news from Sri Lanka and around the world. Before we dive into the details, let's take a quick look at what's making headlines today. Presidential election will be held in accordance with the Constitution, Sri Lankan Prime Minister says. The All-Ceylon Shasanarakshaka Balamandala and the Vietnamese Sangha signed an MOU to promote pilgrimage tourism. Shesha by Sri Lankan filmmaker Isuru Gunathilaka has been adjudged the winner in the Best Dance Film category at World Film Festival in Cannes. As India votes to elect a new government, all eyes are on the northern state of Uttar Pradesh. Well, taking a look at your news in detail, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena has confirmed that the presidential election will be held in accordance with the Constitution and on the date specified by the Election Commission. He made these comments while responding to questions from journalists after attending the opening of the Martin Wickramasinghe Hall of Life section at the National Library and Documentation Services Board. He added that the government's stand on the election has already been announced. The Election Commission declared that the presidential election can be held according to the Constitution. U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie J. Chung has met with the members of Sri Lanka's Election Commission, including its chairman, Mr. R.M.A.L. Ratnayaka. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, the ambassador said the meeting was held to discuss the plans to hold the upcoming elections in Sri Lanka and upholding a transparent process. As Sri Lanka, the US and many countries face elections this year, we exchanged views on the importance of voting in free and fair elections as a pillar of democratic governance, she said. The Marine Environment Protection Authority has taken custody of a ship which had caused an oil spill while anchored at the Colombo port. A spokesperson of the MIPA said that legal action has been initiated against the company that owns the ship and the relevant insurance company regarding the oil spill. Under the Marine Environment Protection Authority Act, the MIPA is seeking compensation for the incident, the authority revealed. The ship, owned by an Indian company, had recently arrived at the port of Colombo for maintenance activities. A special investigation conducted by MIPA had revealed a leak of hydraulic oil from the ship. The company's owner has admitted to the incident and agreed to provide compensation, according to the MIPA. Furthermore, the Colombo Magistrate Court has imposed a travel ban on the captain of the ship, preventing him from leaving the country, as per a request made by the Colombo Port Police. The All-Ceylon Shasanarakshaka Balamandala, the Cultural Affairs Ministry and the Vietnamese Sangha have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to promote pilgrimage tourism between Sri Lanka and Vietnam under the Foreign Affairs Ministry's Temple-to-Temple Diplomacy Program. 39 Vietnamese bhikkhus and bhikkhunis made a 5-day pilgrimage to Sri Lanka under the program. They visited Sri Lanka under the patronage of the All-Ceylon Shasanarakshaka Balamandala and the Cultural Affairs Ministry of Sri Lanka, coordinated by the Embassy of Vietnam in Sri Lanka. Members of the Vietnamese Buddhist clergy and laity who accompanied them met at the Foreign Affairs Ministry on Thursday to share their experiences in Sri Lanka at a press conference. They expressed their pleasure over the tour, particularly their visits to the Ruan Melisaya and the Jayashree Mahabodhi in Anuradhapura, where they witnessed the rich cultural and Buddhist heritage of Sri Lanka. The Temple to Temple diplomacy program was initiated by the ministry in mid-2023 based on a concept by State Minister Tharaka Balasurya. The program aims to promote religious, cultural and economic cooperation between Asian countries. Venerable Kaluvane Kumar Kasapathera of the World Buddhist Youth Sangha Council said that while bhikkhus and bhikkhunis in Asia have great respect for the Buddha's teachings and pilgrimage sites in Sri Lanka, there had not been a firm foundation for close communication or association until State Minister Balasurya's intervention. The Thai cabinet has adopted multiple visa measures to stimulate tourism, which will benefit tourists from 36 more countries, including Sri Lankan travelers who may have planned to stay in the kingdom for more than 30 days. From 1st June, the number of countries eligible for visa-free entry will increase from 57 to 93, with the duration of visa-free stays extended to 60 days. Newly added countries include Sri Lanka, Laos, Albania, Cambodia, China, India, Jamaica, Kazakhstan, Mexico, Morocco, Panama, Romania, Uzbekistan, and others. These measures, including new visa-free and visa-on-arrival schemes, also extended stays for students and reduced health insurance requirements for retirees. The Thai cabinet also approved visa-on-arrival for a total of 31 countries, up from the previous 19. Meanwhile, digital nomads can now obtain multiple entry 5-year visas. With this type of visa, visitors can stay for up to 180 days each time, with one extension allowed within the 5-year period for stays of up to 180 days, extendable for another 180 days. Previously, these tourists were only permitted to stay for 2 30-day periods. Government spokesperson Chai Wacharong emphasized that these regulations target digital nomads, remote workers, freelancers, as well as individuals keen on learning Muay Thai and Thai cuisine, with the goal of attracting them to the region. Furthermore, foreign graduates can now stay in the country for a full year after completing their studies, a significant extension from the previous requirement of immediate departure. Chai mentioned that this change facilitates job searchers, especially in high-demand fields. Currently, approximately 40,000 foreign students are studying in the country. Shesha by Sri Lankan filmmaker Isuru Gunathilaka has been adjudged the winner in the Best Dance Film category at World Film Festival in Cannes. Shesha, a movie that brings to the screen Sri Lanka's traditional dance and a father-son relationship, is directed by young Sri Lankan filmmaker Isuru Gunathilaka from a script by Samantha Kumara Gamage. It is a loving story which centers around Guru Nansi and his beloved son who try to protect their art as their life is in a politically unconscious and culturally corrupted society. Shesha is a story about people who are trying to preserve an art which uniquely remains as a remnant in human society. Gunathilaka's 2020 short film The Vultures won the Human Rights Prize at the Agenda 14 Short Film Festival 2020 and a Merit Award and a Jury Award for Best Actor at the 9th Youth Film Festival 2020. It was also among the official selection of the Jaffna International Cinema Festival. He has also directed the short films The Circle of Life and The Dummy. The World Film Festival in Cannes, Remember the Future, organizes a monthly and annual competition for all genres for international filmmakers, qualify on IMDb and dedicated to feature films, short films, independent films, documentaries, experiential films, animated films, music videos, screenwriters, songwriters, singers and brands, commercials, web TV series, and much more. Sri Lanka will become a regional base to recycle aircraft through a new investment by Aitken Spence Limited that is set to commence operations at Hambantota as a joint venture with a Hong Kong-based partner within the next few months. Aitken Spence is to sign the joint venture with Zone 600, the Hong Kong-based company involved in the recycling of aircraft, with initial plans underway to dismantle and re-export retired aircraft sent for recycling. With no other prominent competitor in the region, this will become a hub for the recycling of aircraft, and Sri Lanka has specifically been selected since it is economically viable and a large land area available in Hambantota. In the region, this will be the first of such ventures, with most other facilities located in Europe, Australia, Japan, China, the US and the Netherlands. It is learned that the recycling of aircraft will not be carried out in Sri Lanka, as this is not possible at the moment in the country. The engines will be re-exported and the landing gears and other electronic parts will be sent to the owners. Currently, the company is in talks with other parties to use the fuselage and other parts of the aircraft to be converted to hotels and restaurants. However, these will take some time before this part of the operations get underway. The pilot project of about 1 to 1.5 months will only involve dismantling of the aircraft and 100% re-export of the dismantled aircraft. During the initial phase, foreign expertise will be brought down to run the operations, but Sri Lankan skilled technicians and engineers will also be employed in the running of the operations. At least 3 companies have agreed to send their aircraft to this facility for recycling that would be dismantled and re-exported. Five companies have been identified for illegally importing gold into Sri Lanka during the past few years, and fines of 1,243 million rupees have been imposed on those companies. One of the related companies was ordered to pay 179 million rupees as fines. From now on, all licensed institutions carrying out import of gold goods should avoid these illegal acts. The government said the efforts to stabilize the state revenue of the country are currently being carried out by closing all the loopholes related to the loss of state revenue gradually. Certain parties who import gold items have turned this into a big racket, and therefore there is a mafia around it. There were various challenges and threats when the government tried to curb this mafia initially. Biodiversity must be at the heart of Sri Lanka's recovery trajectory, from nature-based solutions with investments to let biodiversity flourish, creating jobs and opportunities for communities to secure a sustainable future, opined resident representative UNDP in Sri Lanka, Azusa Kubota. Kubota said this at the National Sustainable Tourism Certification Scheme Awards to 100 SMEs in the tourism sector in Sri Lanka held at PMICH recently. Through the success of such certification schemes in the tourism sector, UNDP reaffirms its commitment to working together with all stakeholders in the sector to demonstrate how nature-positive economies can work for people and the planet. According to the ADB, small and medium enterprises play a vital role in the country's economy, contributing more than 50% of the GDP in Sri Lanka. Around 75% of these enterprises belong to the tourism sector. These include hotels and homestays, spas and Ayurveda. Souvenirs, handicrafts, cafes, food and beverages make up most of the remaining enterprises. The certification scheme aims to involve all tourism stakeholders, government agencies and the private sector, working in partnership to move towards a more sustainable tourism sector in Sri Lanka in line with national priorities. While tourism growth brings positive outcomes for countries, there could also be negative impacts with unplanned tourism creating specific challenges. A delegation of the Immigration Checkpoint Authority of Singapore visited Sri Lanka to explore opportunities for collaboration in enhancing Sri Lanka's immigration system through the integration of advanced technology and achieving standards similar to those of Singapore. The visit has been organised following a request by Minister of Public Security Tiran Alas from Minister of Home Affairs and Minister of Law Singapore K. Shanmugam. A media release issued by the High Commissioner of Sri Lanka in Singapore stated. Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to Singapore Senra Dissanayake met a team of officials from the ICA of Singapore at the High Commission of Sri Lanka on May 15th. During the meeting with the delegation, the High Commissioner highlighted the challenges Sri Lanka is facing in matters related to border control. He said that the Minister of Public Security and the Department of Immigration of Sri Lanka are keen to receive the delegation as their expertise and insights would greatly contribute to Sri Lanka's efforts in modernizing and improving the immigration processes, the release added. Deputy Director of ICA Phua Chiu, who leads the ICA team to Sri Lanka, briefed the High Commissioner on the transformation journey of ICA and their planned engagements with the Sri Lankan authorities. He said that this upcoming visit is a preliminary step to understand the border control systems and connected measures in Sri Lanka. Thailand's Attorney General will indict former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra for allegedly insulting the monarchy, an official said on Wednesday, in a setback to a political heavyweight whose loyalists are currently in government. The complaint lodged by the royalist military that ousted the government of his sister Yingluck Shinawatra had stemmed from an interview the influential tycoon gave to foreign media in 2015. Other charges include violating a computer crime law. Thaksin, 74, denies wrongdoing and has repeatedly pledged loyalty to the crown, criticism of which is forbidden under Thailand's lèse-majesté law, one of the world's strictest of its kind. Thaksin would be the highest profile case among more than 270 prosecutions in recent years under the controversial law, which carries a maximum jail term of 15 years for each perceived insult of the royal family. Thaksin did not appear at Wednesday's hearing, having been infected with COVID-19. His lawyer, Vinaya Chatramontri, said a comprehensive defense had been prepared and Thaksin would seek bail. He questioned the authenticity of the video of the interview in which the alleged insult was made. As India votes to elect a new government, all eyes are on the northern state of Uttar Pradesh, commonly known by its initials UP. Spread over an area roughly the size of Britain, the state packs in nearly 4 times as many people. With an estimated 257 million people, it is India's most populous state and would be the 5th largest in the world if it was an independent country after India, China, United States and Indonesia, and ahead of Pakistan or Brazil. The state is among just 3 in India which are voting in all 7 phases in the elections, which are spread over 44 days. It's no surprise that UP, which elects 80 MPs in the 543-member Lower House of Parliament, is considered key to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's re-election bid as he seeks to return for a 3rd consecutive term. Mr. Modi held his seat in the ancient city of Varanasi in 2019 and aims to do so again this year. Well, that wraps up our news coverage for today. You can reach us on POTV, Samsung TV, LG TV, Apple TV, YouTube and Facebook Live, reaching the entire United States and across the globe. Thank you so much for joining in with us today, and until next week, we wish you a fantastic week ahead.
Catch the full program and more. Subscribe to MMC TV USA on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.